Hi Gemini, Happy New Year. Hope you're having a great start of the year because in January itself, we have some major shifts happening and they will continue to have an effect on you for the next 6 months. We spoke about the first major shift which happened with the eclipse of 6th of January in a separate video. I'll talk briefly about that in this video as well because it's focused on your transformation, which will be the theme of 2019. We have Saturn, Pluto and South Node sitting in your house of transformation, in your house of rebirth. We're looking to have a rebirth both financially and emotionally in 2019 to start a completely different chapter of your life. And in order to do that, there are certain old philosophies, old thought processes, old idea of what a career and what the idea of success is. This fixated view of what I'm supposed to do in my life, that has got to go, that has got to change, and that process has been in making since last year. We'll see that process accelerate as a result of the second eclipse that happened on 21st of January in your area of communication, in your area of courage, in your area of thought process, because your mindset about what you truly want to do is slowly changing, and that has happened as a result of Uranus being in your area of hopes and dreams for the last couple of years. So as a person, your aspirations have changed, your social network has changed, your surroundings have changed, where you want to go in terms of your social environment has changed. As a result of that, your current physical reality around that has to reflect this new aspiration, has to reflect the new person that you've become. And in order to do that, you'll take certain steps which are very different from what you have taken before, and that gets started with Saturn and Neptune meeting together on 30th or 31st of January. They're meeting together and diffusing an old thought process and seeding, putting the seeds of a new thought process of what you want to be, your career, what do you want to be your legacy, what do you want to do in terms of making a name for yourself in your career. And that shift, that profound shift that happens on 30th and 31st of January happens as a result of you taking either a travel, taking an adventure, taking a course, stepping out of your current situation for a brief moment. And I'll encourage you to do that in the next couple of days. Plan to get away from the mundane. Plan to take a step away from your day-to-day to give yourself the breathing space, because there is a new inspiration coming your way and you want your mind to be open to that. You want your senses to be open to that. 2019 is a year of major shifts for you, because we have Neptune sitting in your house of career and it is shifting the way you think about your career. At the same time, Saturn, Pluto and South Node, they're working together in your financial and your independence and power sector. They're asking you to trust this process of rebirth. They're encouraging you to take significant changes in your life. They're encouraging you to go for a major turning point and get your power financially as well as your emotionally. It is asking you to detox your life, to get rid of the old cycle, the old habits, the old patterns that are blocking your financial growth, that are blocking your true power to come out. And you know what this is, because Saturn is not a surprise. Saturn sort of just makes us more disciplined about getting rid of the old, getting rid of certain things that are not serving us. But we are never not in the know of what is stopping us and what we need to do. Saturn just creates the processes around us, creates the pressure around the finances, creates the pressure around intimacy, create the pressure around our deep thinking, so we clear out the junk that is not serving us. It creates the pain enough that we get excited to make the change. And it is a very strict taskmaster, so it doesn't do it in a pleasant way. We feel the pressure in our financials. We feel the pressure that we feel a little bit powerless to some extent, and sometimes we need to feel powerless in order to get hurt enough to take actions to get back in power. And that is exactly what happens during the course of 2019. This is a journey of substance. This is a journey of you taking charge of your life because you have decided that that's what you want to do. So we'll talk about the first eclipse briefly as well during the course of this video, because the clear visibility of that eclipse will only happen around the start of February, when Saturn, the ruler of that eclipse, will become visible and meet the eclipse point. And we'll of course talk about the 21st January eclipse, which is bringing about the clear messaging and the shifts as a result of you stepping away from the mundane to some extent. So let's dig in. So as we stand today on 20th of January, Sun has moved into Aquarius. That is a house of adventure. The last 1 month would have been very uncomfortable for you, because when Sun is in our 8th house, in the house of regeneration, in the house of transformation, it does not feel easy for you. This house now, your fellow air sign, for the next 1 month will encourage you to learn more, will encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. It will encourage you to sort of be more outward focused, be more social, interact with people and philosophies which are different for you, so you get new ideas of what you want to do. It is also something that encourages you to take a leap of faith from your existing situation, whether it is in form of going for a travel, whether it is in form of taking a course in education, or just truly meeting somebody different from you, interacting with people who are completely different from you, just getting away, if only in mind. That is the messaging of Sun in Aquarius for you. It is encouraging you over the next 1 month to open your mind to other influences. And Mercury, your ruler, will also move in that direction on 24th of January. And we'll see from 24th of January to 10th of February. This will be a major period of shifts for you in terms of your thought process, in terms of how you're thinking about your future life. It might also be a period where you will think about looking at new courses, new education systems, new ways of thinking about your life, new ways of figuring out if there is a new tool that you need to acquire to enhance your career. Because we are looking in March to have a new moon in your career house. March will be a period of major shifts for you, because Uranus will be shifting signs in March. Your ruler will be going retrograde. All of these together will create a little bit of chaos to some extent, but at the same time it will create a spark of change, a spark of endings. Slowly a period of your life, a major chapter in your life, in terms of in my view, especially in terms of your career, has got to come to an end. And that period requires you to move into a different thought process. And the Aquarian season, starting from 20th of January all the way to 20th of February, will encourage your mentality to make that shift, to make that closure, to come to a conclusion that there is a different vision of your career that you need to have, because the current one has become stale. And this is a positive aspect to you, so it will truly agree with you and jive with you. And it is very important if you have any planets around 15 degree of Gemini, especially if your ascendant, sun or moon is around 15 degree of Gemini, which means that if you're a Gemini sun born around 6th of June, a couple of days ahead and after, which means that if you're born between 4th to 8th of June, you will be feeling this energy very potently right about. You sort of have been thinking about it for some period of time, but the shifts will be very, very potent for you if you're born between 4th to 8th of January of June, or if you have any planets around 15 degree of Gemini. The power of this change, this shift, would be very strong for you. More importantly, there is an old structure that you're breaking, an old structure of being in, of what you thought you would be known in the society, of what you thought you would be doing as a person, of what you thought, what kind of environment you will be working in. You are shifting that, because Uranus is making a very potent T-square to South Node and North Node, which we spoke about in the last couple of videos as well. Uranus in your house of hopes and dreams and social networks. In the last couple of years, you might have shifted the kind of friends you make, the kind of people you interact with, the kind of people who you call your supporters and your tribe would have undergone significant changes in the last couple of years. And this is not a normal shift. This is a complete shift in what kind of people are your friends right now? What kind of people are your supporters right now? And this total shift that has come about in terms of the influences around you, in terms of the vision that you have about your life, in terms of the hopes and dreams that you have about your life, it has changed the kind of person you are. You have sort of got out of your shell and met the kind of people who are different from you. And when that happens, we change as a result of that. It sort of leads to freedom of our own aspiration, freedom of our own hopes and dreams. And these are not small hopes and dreams, as in I want to be this in my career, or I want my next promotion, or I want this money. These are larger visions about our life. This is higher vision of our life. This is what we want to do in terms of, this is where we create our legacy. This is where we create something that we want to leave behind. This is where we want to make an impact on the society. And that shift in mindset, that you want to make an impact on the society, it requires your immediate environment where you are to change. It requires the kind of skill set that you have to change. It requires the way you make money to change. And that highlight will become very, very clear to you from January to March this year, because Uranus is at a very potent degree right now. It is at 29 degree of Aries, which is a critical degree where there is an urgency to change. There is an urgency to change our environment to fit with this new vision of our life that we have. And that urgency is being met with South Node, which is South Node is at 29 degree of Capricorn. In symbolic astrology, that is shown as a man, a disheveled sculptor, who has a large mold of himself. He looks at that mold and he's disappointed in his own mold. And he decides to throw that in a pond of water. And as he sees his own image, his own old image dissolve, a new aspiration emerges. A new desire emerges. A new way of thinking about himself emerges. So there is an old way of thinking, and this is in your area of finances. This is in your area of intimacy. This is an area of how you feed your body. That thought process about what your body could be, what your financial empowerment could be, how you want to be rewarded, what is the give and take in different partnerships in your life, what kind of power, what kind of control you have over your own destiny. That thought process changes completely as a result of this T-square. This is breaking an old mold of what you thought about yourself, what you thought about what you're capable of, what your power is, what kind of control you have over your own destiny. This was also the theme of the first eclipse that happened on 6th of January, but the full effect of that and the fruits of that transformation will only be visible around 5th of February when Saturn becomes visible and it revisits the eclipse point. And that is a sort of a transformation that will be the theme of 2019, because Saturn will revisit that point 3 times during the course of 2019, and every time it does, this turning point of which direction you want to go on and how do you want to pursue it, what are the boundaries of it, what are the rules and the structure of it, that will undergo different changes. But Saturn will make sure that you work hard on this physical, emotional and financial transformation, and you give a birth to this new you during the course of 2019. And that starts from now. That starts either from changing of your diet, cutting rid of certain things in our diet. It starts from cutting ties from an existing source of income. It starts from cutting ties from the way you thought the way you thought what do you deserve in a partnership. That process, the thought process, undergoes a drastic amount of change with Saturn there. Saturn does not want to have anything fake. So a fake image of where we are going, a fake image of what kind of intimacy, what kind of passion we have in our relationship, a fake image of how much power I have on my own life, what level of control do I have on my own life, that gets debunked with Saturn. And Saturn asks us to take a reality check as a result of that. And it gives us the deep-seated motivation to make a change. It brings about certain opportunities as well, but the opportunities come as a result of our work on it, as a result of our implementation of this change in it. What sort of flows towards us, what comes towards us is Jupiter. Jupiter is sitting in your house of partnership. So my view of looking at these aspects is there is a possibility of a lucrative partnership coming your way, which is in form of business, and that partnership you may not be ready right now for, because it might be a way of earning money that you have not experienced before. This is a way of merging your talents with somebody, but it doesn't mean that you become financially dependent on that person, because the road to success from now all the way to 2020 is for you to make your own money, to not get financially dependent, to find your own worth through your own talents. But there is a possibility that with Saturn and Pluto there's a profound rebirth in your thought process about how you earn money, and maybe there is a possibility of merging your talents and resources with somebody to become something bigger, to create some sort of trust in another person, in another partner, which will bring about this profound change. Because there are a couple of synods that are acting that are bringing about a shift in your mindset. These synods are external planets that are working together. They make contacts with each other that are not very common in nature. They are rare contacts that are made, and whenever they are made, our mindsets changes, and at a geopolitical level, mindset changes of people at large. It causes significant geopolitical changes, and we are seeing that happening right now, because in January, the first instance of 3 of those synods happened, which shifts our geopolitical environment and it shifts our mindset. And those synods will repeat themselves during the course of 2019. They'll repeat 3 times during the course of 2019 to bring about a shift in your life. The first of those synods is Saturn and Neptune working together. Saturn and Neptune working together diffuses an old mindset and creates a new one. It is linked to, this synod started in 1989 with the fall of Berlin Wall. It is associated with dissolution of communism. It started in 1989, and that is, I'm just telling you the geopolitical event to give you an idea of what it looks like in larger life, to implement it in your own life. It doesn't mean that I'm promoting or not promoting communism. This is not a political view. This is a thought process that shifted, and it was implemented in real life like a rule. So an ideology was taken and it was implemented like a rule, and it was embedded in the DNA of the people going forward. So a thought process, an inspiration, an aspiration was sort of embedded into touch it, feel it, quantitative thing in real life. So somebody and the powers above and the people decided that communism did not work for certain countries. That resulted in dissolution of USSR. It resulted in dissolution of freedom of Eastern European countries, and that started this synod in 1989 of dissolution of an old thought process and formation of a new one that is focused for a long-term growth of you. So these two are meeting together in a sextile aspect, which is a positive aspect, on 31st of January. But because they're meeting in a sextile aspect, it is for you to access that dissolution of thought process about the old image of your career. You are looking to redefine success. You're having a higher vision of what a success should look like. There is new aspirations available for your career, new inspirations available for your career, which will require you to dissolve the old barrier, the old thought process, the old way of thinking. The addictive ties that we have to our old life would have to be dissolved as a result of that. And Saturn comes in this area of rebirth, in the area of transformation, only once in 29 years. So this is not a very often happening process. This only happens once in 29 years. But more importantly, Neptune will never in any of our lifetimes come again in your 10th house of career. So during this period, especially if you have your ascendant around 14 degrees, or if you have your sun around 14 degrees, which means that you're born around 5th of June, in fact the first 10 days of June, this process of dissolving the old opinion about your career would be felt very, very strongly. But if you're especially born around 5th, 6th, 7th, in fact from 4th to 8th or 9th of June, this formation of the new structure will be the theme of next couple of weeks. And you'll feel this pressure that you need to create a new way of being. You need to have a rebirth. You need to shed old skin and sort of have a rebirth in the way you're making your money, in the way you're in your career. You'll feel that pressure very, very strongly. There is an evolution of sort, a turning point in your career, in your talents, which is felt very strongly right now. Saturn does create certain amounts of reality checks, so it's prudent to sort of be in control of those situations ahead of the game. First thing that it creates pressure on when it's in this house is shared resources. So there might be boundaries and rules of shared resources. If you're already in a partnership, you need to create the boundaries about that. Or if you are sort of in a marriage relationship, in a committed relationship with somebody, this could be finances as well as intimacy. There might be certain things in your intimacy sector or your joint finance sector which may not be where you want them to be. And Saturn in Capricorn is very ambitious, whether it is in your personal life or in your professional life. It wants you to get your fair share, and it does not want to just get something which you might be mildly satisfied with. It wants to create something very solid for you, both financially as well as emotionally. So if you're not satisfied in the proceeds of your partnership, whether it is intimacy or it is the financial aspects of your partnership, it will ask you to confront that. It will ask you to get a reality check on that. It will ask you to address that by facing those things with your partner, by discussing those fears, by discussing those gaps, by discussing those even trust issues and power control issues with your partner. It will create the pressure so high that you'll have to handle it to some extent. And Pluto has exactly the same theme, but South Node is helping us dissolve these old pattern of power struggle, how we share control in a relationship, how is intimacy in the relationship, what are the fears of getting closer in a partnership. South Node will help you dissolve those old fears. So looking at those authentically and in reality, and not have any fluff around those discussion points, not hiding from confronting some of these difficult topics, Saturn is asking us to do that. So as I said, it's better to get ahead of the game in it. It will make contacts many times during the course of 2019. So you will have instances of where, if pretty much every degree, if you're born in June and you're a Gemini sun, you will experience that throughout. You some or the other point in the year of 2019, you would be asked to face up to it. So it's better to get ahead of the game in this, especially to have an honest discussion with your partner. And that is actually very positively handled in 2019, because Jupiter, the great benefic, is sitting in your partnership area. It is sitting in your committed partnership area. So it's expanding the positivity. It's expanding the happiness that we get out of our committed partnerships. So it will sort of support you in getting the right level in your partnership, whether it is committed business partnership or in terms of committed marriage partnerships. And if you're not in a marriage relationship right now, if you're not in a committed relationship, or if you're looking to get into a partnership, as I said, the theme of 2019 is get more benefit by merging your resources. So marriage is, it's a very positive aspect to have marriage. In fact, on 22nd of January onwards to 24th of January, Jupiter and Venus meeting together. This is a beautiful romantic energy in your marriage life, in your committed relationship life. But Jupiter comes in a committed relationship area every 12 years. Doesn't mean that we get married every 12 years. Most people don't. Last it came here in 2007 and 8. So if you got married at that time, or if you got into a relationship between 2007 and 2008, Jupiter will help you bring to the next level in that partnership. It will expand that partnership further. It will take that partnership to the next level. If you are not in a partnership, it will sort of encourage you to get in one. It will bring about opportunities to get into one. That brings me to the second synod, which is Neptune and Jupiter working together. They're working in a hard aspect with each other, but that is breaking a boundary of intimacy, that is breaking a boundary of partnership, both in your personal life as well as in your professional life. If you are looking to change the existing structure of your career, which Neptune is encouraging you to do, if you have your planets around 14 degree of Gemini, you have your ascendant sun or moon around 14 degree of Gemini, which means if you're a Gemini sun born around 5th of June, you're breaking the mode of your existing career. It is encouraging you by bringing you more opportunities to partner. It is bringing you opportunities to get together with somebody to create a new career. This could be in form of a business partnership. This could be a new client as well, who might become your sponsor, who might become your supporter. You're finding somebody, and this is one-on-one partnership. So I will encourage you to create new supporters right now. Create new partnerships. This is a very social time with the Aquarius season. Next 1 month is all about interacting with people who are different from you. With Uranus in your house of social network, you might suddenly click with somebody. You might suddenly get an opportunity to get into business with somebody, or somebody might highlight you an opportunity that they have. So interact and be out and about. But it asks you to do one thing, which is to be very discerning on what kind of ideas are coming. Because when Neptune is in the 10th house, we might get a little bit without a base in terms of where we are going. The direction of our career shifts, but at the time we are better placed to look at what kind of people are influencing us, whether they are business partners or they're the people around us. We need to be a little bit discerning in terms of what kind of influences we are letting into our life. This synod of Jupiter and Neptune working together is associated with slow change in mindset of people, but it is associated with both rise of Hitler as well as rise of Roosevelt. It's not a discerning combination. It just sort of slowly dissolves your old mindset by creating awareness of a new one, by creating opportunity of a new mindset. It expands a different aspiration in your mind, and it sort of pulls you to make this new aspiration into your reality. But as I said, it's not discerning. It's associated both with rise of Hitler as well as rise of Roosevelt. So we don't know what kind of thought process is coming in our mind. We need to use the filter of Saturn, that something has to have legs. Something has to be based in reality. It will always require hard work when Saturn is associated with it in terms of monetary value of it. It will not be a quick get rich quick kind of a scheme. I'm sorry to say that, but Saturn does not result in get rich quick kind of schemes. So it will be something that will require time, it will require effort. The third synod that is active is that Jupiter and Uranus are working together. This is innovation. This is innovation in what kind of ideas are coming to you, what kind of aspirations are coming to you. But these two planets are right now not working in harmony. They are working in an aspect called sesqui square. It is not a very commonly spoken about aspect, but I like to speak about it because it's important in terms of effect on you, because Jupiter is in your opposite house, so it directly affects you. This is an aspect where this excitement inside us to make a change, to make a shift. This is something boiling inside us saying that we have to make a shift. But this shift is still coming. It's still in making. The messaging of it is to hold your cards a little bit closer to your chest. When a new idea comes to you, when a new opportunity comes to you, when a new mentor comes to you, when a sudden information comes to you through your network, through your mentor, through somebody in your surrounding, somebody who's your supporter gives you a new opportunity, be a little bit discerning in terms of sharing it with wider people. Have a little bit of discretion in who you tell things to during this period. It doesn't mean that we don't, you understand what I'm saying. This is a period when we are still creating something. This is like the first, second month of pregnancy. We are still thinking about it. We're still creating the structure of it. The windfall moment, the moment of us making it known to the world and sudden things clicking together and moving forward will happen later in the year, not right now. Right now we are at the gestation period. All these synods are at their gestation period, at their starting point. That brings me to why we are having the second eclipse, because everything has a purpose, and this all was supposed to be known for me to explain the purpose of the second eclipse. The second eclipse is happening in your house of courage. It is happening in your house of information. It is happening in your house of information and communication and self-made wealth. You're looking to create and complete sort of a communication skill set. There's a need to look at your old talents to some extent to build the new thing that you're looking to bring. So this eclipse that happened on 21st of January, which will continue to have an impact on you in the coming days, happened in your house of communication. It happened in your house of publication. It happened in your house of skills that may help you in your day-to-day. It happened in the house of mundane. Why it happened in your house of mundane is because it wanted you to come in the know that sometimes the things that we are looking for are available to us in our immediate environment. Sometimes the opportunities, the thought processes, the communication that we are looking for are available to us right now. They're available in our immediate environment. It is asking you to look at your immediate environment and how you can make use of your existing skill set, the existing people that you have around you, the skills that you acquired in communication area, in media area, in the area of commercial success over the course of last couple of years, last 2 years specifically. How can you use that right now to get to the next level, to get more value out of them? And Uranus will ask you to sort of get rid of some amount of emotional blockage that is stopping you from getting true value out of these skill sets you currently have. Even though the model, the structure of your career is changing, but you are taking certain old skill sets, especially in the area of communication, into this new start. And that is the messaging of this eclipse. It will ask you to look back for a moment at your and evaluate your current skill set and what are the gaps in that for you to get to next step. It will encourage you to sort of look at your current certifications, look at your current knowledge level, look at review how you currently come across, who you share, how you share information, how do you speak, how do you publicize yourself, how do you brand yourself, and it will ask you to sort of make a shift in all of these to click for the next level. And in the process of it all, it's asking you to let go an old way of thinking, an old philosophy, an old mindset about it all, because where you're going is not where you've been before. With that eclipse comes a lot of supportive aspect which will continue to pan out from 22nd of January all the way to middle of February. The first aspect of that is that Venus and Jupiter, they're both working in positive energy with Mars, which means that you will be going out and making the right connections. The group activity, networking, being very busy in making connections, it is an excellent time to do that. From 22nd to 28th of January. And as I said, I would request you to step out of your comfort zone, step out of your day-to-day people and interact with people who are completely different from you. And Jupiter in your house of relationships will encourage you, will add the charm, will add the positivity, will add this oomph about you that Geminis have to sort of create the charm with the people, create a new set of tribe which will support you in this new journey. And On 29th of January, we have Sun and Mercury working together. Now, this is a plan to get away. This could be a travel, this could be a vacation, this could be something coming your way in terms of you interacting with somebody who's different from you, a new connection, a new foreign influence, a new interaction with somebody who's different from you in an education area, in the area of travel, in the area of somebody who's different from you, a new mindset coming to you through you opening yourself up to different influences. When Mercury is in your 9th house all the way till 10th of February, from 24th of January, you will not like to focus on small stuff. So it is better to not plan any detail-oriented activity from 24th of January to 10th of February. I know it feels like a long time, but it is a time when you're focusing on bigger picture, when you're focusing on bigger influences. You can be a little bit forgetful of details during this time. So either be mindful of that or just focus on creating bigger plans versus focusing on the details of it. On 30th or 31st of January, you'll have your personal full moon, because moon will be in your opposite sign. That is when culmination, in my view, emotionally of some chapter in your life will come. There might be a surprising discussion that happens as a precursor to that. It could be in form of something you heard from somebody. It could be in form of a surprising interaction. It could be in form of you changing your mindset as a result of shift in your philosophy. But I feel that 30th to 31st of January will see a culmination of a subtle message that you need to look at a different direction in your life. And that comes with a lot of power, because Mars and Pluto are working together in a power aspect on 1st of February. That will continue to have an impact all the way till 4th or 5th of February. That is when the new moon in this adventure, a new start of adventure, a new start of education, a new travel comes about. So there's a lot of power in your action right now, and you'll feel that power grow towards the end of the month. So good luck for that, and I hope that pans out well. I'll speak about February more in detail in a separate video as well. So good luck for this. This reading is for you for the next 6 months, because these two eclipses will have an impact on you for the next 6 months. So good luck for that. Thank you.